The button has been pressed, oh no.
The button has been pressed.
The button.
I have to wait for the thing to kick on, and I can see that we're actually going.
Oh, I have too many tabs open of the stream. I hear myself 3 times.
Hooray! That probably means it's working.
Woo!
Good. Hello, hello, and welcome. We are doing dev talk stuff with the map maker of Horrifeye RenderXR. How are you doing?
Pretty well, pretty well. Bit sick, but pretty well.
Bit sick. Did you catch illness over in America?
It's called Compox.
Yeah.
And also going from like 35 degrees Celsius to, the Dutch rainy weather, 10 degrees Celsius. Is...
Temperature
all happened
difference.
overnight as well.
Yeah.
And it's like a night that's too short because you're kind of flying against the time zones in.
Mm-hmm.
So it completely messes up your body.
Yeah. Well, we're already off on a tangent and not talking about the map, so this is a brilliant start. But yes, Horrify. I really do not have any of this planned out, really. I have a whole list of notes. We're going to see if there are any questions from the chat as well, which are already often talking about the Nether update. But
just
I'm sure we'll get to that. Stuff is not being good on Discord. You sound all robotic suddenly. This is a brilliant start, yes. Let me just leave call and then rejoin again. See if that fixes anything.
I can hear you now.
Oh, better. Fixed.
I just beep boop beep boop.
Yep, same thing.
Okay.
Brilliant start.
Okay, so the lobby.
Yes. Later on in the map, way down the line, I commented on the fact that you could see this from the mainland. You can't. That is not the mainland. That is not part of the map at all. This is just a whole bunch of decoration around here.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of decoration, and some of it is all these islands are kind of preset islands that are made from. And this cloud is actually. These are actually end islands, like the outer end islands, and they are resized a bit.
Oh, cool.
And multiple layers inside of each other. And it's actually the same cloud as where the Rage Chain Citadel was hanging from. So it's the same thing, but just different blocks.
Cool. Yeah. Just retextured.
Yeah.
So other stuff in here, we've got this parkour thing, which I gave up on quite quickly when I was doing it.
Like everything else, it used to be more difficult.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not fun.
But if you're waiting on a multiplayer server, that is probably a good time waster. And there are a few things up here. We've got a bit of iron, golden apple, a few torches, a whole bunch of cake that you can't really take with you, but it is there.
I was expecting people to make a shield of that. Iron ingots.
Yeah, that's probably the best use for it. Also, tucked away over here at the back, there is like a hidden giant cake over here.
Yeah. There's some weird stuff everywhere. Like, what if people would find this? It could be pretty cool if they would find XYZ.
You can barely see it if you made the parkour up to the top of that cage.
Yeah, actually the idea was with because there's a weird dirt wall in front. Like from this side it kind of looks natural. But from the other side it's just a flat thing, so I quickly just built that to kind of hide it. But like if you actually see, you can actually see it from here still, like you said. I'd be like, what's that bright white thing over there?
Yeah.
And I later find that it's just listed little Easter egg. A lot of the terrain in this map was actually generated. with the, I think it was Biome Bundle, because it had some cool terrain, kind of like these weird spikes. That's where that came from. This was one of the islands that I removed when the map went from a 16 to a 12 objective map.
Oh yeah, I have a couple of questions about that already, I think. Like with the bonus area, but we'll get to that later as well.
Oh, there were so many iterations of that. we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is one of the things that was generated. Those smaller islands were actually just a bunch of islands made. And then I put them in the sky. Actually, you can see them right here.
Yeah.
In this corner. These are all the preset islands that I just copy-pasted around as decorational islands. So you don't have empty sky, but you actually have something to look at. Oh, they... Lazy me left some structure blocks around.
Let me go into game mode spectator real quick, because otherwise I can't get through that wall.
Yes.
Let me see where you went. Here we are.
So over here.
Yep, there's a structure block.
I think this is one of the honeypot islands. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I can't break anything. But,
gaps in here, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big problem at the start, is there were just not enough honeypots.
We've got several questions in the chat. Most of them I think are to do with places later on, but there is one that does apply already. Why did you give us the option to turn keep inventory on?
That's a good question, because I was expecting people to give me crap about it. And my idea basically is for easier players, I would rather have them play like an easier version than not play the map at all, because it's too difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really the answer. Accessibility.
It's fair enough. I wonder what percentage of people actually used that. Not that there's any way to find that out, but... Interesting. We have a reference to Kit. I believe he helped to beta test the map? Possibly?
No, he didn't. It's just that every time I watch him, he just skips past every reading. He's just like, oh, let's just look at it, and then looks away.
Yeah, I assumed this meant he beta tested it and skipped over it, but...
No, I was just taking a piss at him. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
You can actually take these with you as well. So you can take
they respawn on the stand. That's cool.
Yeah, so how it works... hope I don't break anything. Yeah, here we go. It's basically the real version.
Okay, yeah.
And if it detects air... Oh no, if it detects an empty lectern, I think these are called. Lecterns.
Yeah.
Then replace it with the one that's standing right here.
Cool.
Pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, and play some particles, of course. Oof.
What else we got? The death counter. That's a fairly standard thing.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There's some weird stuff
death
with
mechanism. Yeah.
This is for initializing some stuff when the actual map gets started up. I could do that better now that I know functions better.
Yeah, function files.
Yeah, I didn't know about like gonna talk a bit about command stuff. About the tick and loop tags, game rules, functions.
Yep.
Whatever the terminology is.
I haven't looked into function files too much myself, so I don't know the terminology for those either.
Okay.
Command blockchain.
Yeah. I think most of this is pretty straightforward. Okay, do you want to...
Function file. Yeah, I don't know if we want to look at all the command block stuff now or later, or...
I mean, we're in the lobby right now, so I guess that's the best idea, right?
Yep.
Because there's a lot of stuff that's basically my playground up here.
Yep. I had a little look at this after I finished. I saw we have got a bunch of chests up here. We appear to have all of the spawners.
Yeah. Oh, and also, anyone's curious, you can climb the chain if you're smart enough, and use a lot of the glowstone blocks and stuff to actually get up to the island, but you get teleported down, so don't try to outsmart me, I will outsmart you.
Ooh, cobwebs. Okay. So we've got this thing in the middle. I already saw what that does. That is just the multiplayer spawn box.
Yeah.
So when you spawn up here, it takes you down to the actual cage.
Yeah, they changed it though, where you don't spawn on top anymore.
Doesn't it?
It spawned like people in the bedrock.
Mm.
I had to make like an extra little weird tube underneath. You can see it in spectator mode. Basically, if you spawn anywhere in this box right here, then you can just teleport it down.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure whether this is true or not because I haven't tested it, but I think someone in Discord said it now depends on what mode you're in, whether or not you spawn underneath something or on top y-axis like you used to. If you're in adventure mode, you can now spawn point underneath blocks, but...
Yeah, I've heard it's actually from QMagnet that it depends on game mode 2.
Yeah, which is slightly strange, but sure, okay. Mojang, you do that.
So as you've noticed, the map has a difficulty scaling system.
Mm-hmm.
And how it works is as you get to each of these areas, if you get like in a radius of 10 or 20 blocks of the objective box, and then this mechanism triggers where it would let me get this. It would create a sound. It would add a score to an armor stand, which is I think in here. Yeah. And that would and it would like disable the command block. And basically as those scores go up with every area, the difficulty increases dependent on 4 stages. So whenever you have 3 to 5 objectives or got close to them, you get to load the 2nd level, and the 6th to 8th. Oh, I got close to
you
the
vanished.
It's a magic trick. But yeah, 6 to 8, and the last one is 9 and above.
Yeah, I noticed that when... which area was it? I think it was when I got near the Burnt Badlands box. I noticed suddenly a lot of other charged creepers and stuff started appearing around.
Yeah.
It wasn't visibly noticeable with any of the others, but I definitely noticed that one, yeah.
The first one is probably the most noticeable because there's nothing, and then all of a sudden they are there. At times. Not as much, of course, but they are there.
Okay, that's quite a humorous question. How much does Render wish that War Never Changes plays this map?
Sorry. What's the question?
How much does Render wish that War Never Changes plays this map?
Oh, so much. But I'd like so many people to see him play though, so...
Yeah.
It's not just him. Everybody in the world. It's kind of too much to watch.
Yeah.
Okay,
oh boy, lag spike. Yeah, getting close to all of these spawners over here.
Yeah.
I can see where that would happen.
Yeah, let's turn this into peaceful really quick, I guess. This is just a command block to teleport to the area because it's about 7 blocks away, I think. Oh no, I changed it. Oh. These are the preset spawners. And I can basically copy paste these in really easily via these command blocks. Just copy paste them, or just middle click them, control middle click, and then place them down, and then always active. So I can centralize all the command blocks and then just copy them in.
Yeah.
And for the nether, because you can't clone stuff from one dimension to the other, because the overworld isn't loaded anymore, I basically saved some as structure blocks.
Ah, okay.
To paste them in. Yeah, that's these really. Not everything is in the map as well. There's some stuff from Corona in there, like the ore golems.
Yeah.
It's this row. There's an unused. I don't remember what I called this one. I think it's a cursed elemental, because there's a light and a night one. So there's a blinding one and a fire one. And this one, it's kind of like the Corona one, where Corona Trials elemental, where it would like put potion effect clouds down.
Cool.
Yeah, that's basically it. Everything else I think was in there.
Yep. Then we've got
This is my
bunch of preset chests.
Yeah. I tried to make a lot of them, so it's not like, oh, I already seen this chest 4 times. Or 25 times.
We've got, like, which is the one that's full of books? There's one of them full of books, which I presume is randomized levels.
This one.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah, no, all the books are hand placed.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think I got to. I don't think I gave out the potions enough. The throwable potions. I enjoy those, especially as. Now, if you grab a potion and you just throw it, it just goes normal distance. But if you jump,
goes a lot further. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you sprint jump, then it's
even further. I don't think I knew that, actually. That's cool.
Yeah, it works with ender pearls as well.
I was aware of it working with ender pearls, but I was not aware of it working with potions.
I think every projectile, so bows and arrows as well. Yeah, all bows and arrows.
That went a whole bunch further.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump down now.
There.
Yeah, so I'm jumping down now. So it's preset chests. Here are the Eye of Enders.
Yep.
I don't have the textures.
I do, so.
Okay, that's good to know.
Bunch of enchanted stuff.
Yeah, there's also enchanted stuff. There's actually all the wands are in here as well, in this one.
Okay, yeah.
And for anybody's curious what they actually are, they are Nautilus Shells. Because you can't do much with those.
Yeah.
You need 9 of them. So you need to collect 9 wands to actually craft them into anything. But you also need like the Heart of the Sea, which actually is in the map.
And then all you get is a conduit anyway, which isn't particularly useful in this map.
Yeah, but you need to also know that you can craft those into... Yeah, but that was the best texture to add some custom model data to. And some shulker boxes to move some stuff. I actually have one of these full of command blocks, the black one I think.
Yep.
In the city. So some people found that. And there was also another item, custom item. Did you ever find the diamond stick?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't manage to recover it. I died trying to bring it back, but I did find the box, yes.
Okay. That was just a funny joke again.
Yeah. We've got a couple of these over here.
Ah, yeah. This was to replace the monument eye. I guess we'll talk about that when we get over there.
Okay.
Just so not too much here, just a beacon.
Beacon with an extra little bit of fanciness on the edges.
Yeah, that's basically what I do. This is to give some custom spawners to pillagers and ravager, pillager. These are the copy-pastable TNT cannons.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward. Basically, I've made sure these have 100% accuracy, so they're completely reliable. So if I quickly do this... Oh no, it's empty actually. This one would shoot actually precisely up until this island over here. And I actually have calculations right here that basically say, oh, I know precisely how to place the actual TNT cannon.
Cool.
Over there's the proximity bomb that's used in a few things. One peaceful, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how that one works, it's just actually a standard case spawner with a small spawn radius. And then it drops directly onto the tripwire. And then over near the other side, yes, we have a shulker and a thing to summon the shulker. So if I just whack this guy.
Oh, he's off.
Yeah, so I can basically just copy paste this around and put these down.
Some of the lava trees.
Yeah, so these lava trees, they actually came in when I converted to 1.14, and at the time there was no copy pasta stuff, so no wall edit, no MC edit still on the thing. No vocal snipe, so I had to use structure blocks. You can actually see the structure voids the hitbox of it in creative. So I had to use those to actually copy paste the trees in. Just kind of a pain.
Yeah. Water and lava are kind of a pain to deal with MC edit and stuff in 1.14 because, yeah, they flow everywhere and they never used to. So now structure voids are needed and it's a bit more of a mess than it used to be, but yeah.
And we have an early tower design for the towers of Spires of Sorrow. The little skeleton turrets.
I really like these towers. Just the concept of them.
I like the design because it's kind of a almost a Japanese design again, which like Spike, you already see it like coming back in some of the areas. And then we have some random magical saplings. These are my precious. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. These are my. I'm proud of those because they're still growing. Someday they will grow big and strong. I think that's actually everything in the lobby, right?
Yeah, what? It's just another spawner. Okay.
Something.
Yeah, I think that is about it for the lobby.
Then shall we teleport to the first area?
Sounds like a plan.
Huzzah!
Button.
Button.
And now we're in a jail cell.
Yes, the opening. This was actually inspired by... Oh, you can actually get out here. This was actually inspired by an old adventure map called The Two Towers.
Who started playing that recently? There was someone on YouTube who started playing that recently.
Chronic?
Yeah, I think so, yes. Yeah.
Cool adventure map, especially for if you realize that it's one of those first maps, so there wasn't really anything to play off on. Trying to funnel the player as much as possible, just, hey, you have to dig the dirt. And then once you get here, you can do whatever you want, basically. Like open up these places. Maybe open up this one.
Yep.
And then for people who actually check the, all the cells, will actually find a little neat reward. Which I think actually everybody did that. Like, because everybody had the idea of, oh, there's probably something in those other cells as well.
Yeah.
And did you actually take these torches?
I did not, no.
I especially put like an extra massive amount just so that people would be like, oh hey, torches, let's just take them.
And then here's the first trap, yeah.
The ground reveal whilst trolling people on multiple avenues.
Pew.
First one. And then there's also this one over here. Although it's not triggering because I'm in creative. It's silverfish.
Uh-huh. I did go over there and break those as well. Yeah. And then we've got a feather with some sharpness on it.
Yeah, you basically to tickle your enemies to death. Some extra bread, some golden boots, and if you actually turn around, you can already see the first secret of the map.
Yeah.
Actually, the second.
I found that when I was in the spectator mode fly around, but I did not find this when I was actually playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, secret wand up here.
Knockback one. It's actually really good for the start because you can just knock everything away. Actually, these lampposts, in case people are curious.
Yep.
How you build
top fence, yeah.
Yeah, you can't actually make this fence in vanilla. So what you do is you give yourself a debug stick. And I think I have no idea how. Yeah, so with the left clicking, you can select the property you want to change, and then by right clicking, you can change it from true or false or to waterlogged or yeah. It's a bit confusing to get used to, but after a while you get used to it. And that's how you basically make these lampposts. This was actually one of the last things I made, these lampposts. Because I thought the first area used to be very plain. At first, actually, over here, it used to be like this, and then most people would bang their head and fall immediately into the void. Do I even remember
how many secrets?
There are too many. But that's I can with all my maps. Then we have some fancy new retextures.
Different flowers. Different grass.
These are actually oxide daisies. And these are azure bluettes, but when you break them, the item gets immediately removed. Like the item.
Yeah.
So any item with the NBT tag that it has this ID. Also try to have soul sand at the start, so people would like know that, or would get introduced to the slowness mechanic that soul sand has quite quickly. And so they would know slow sand bad.
I believe that's been a mechanic in how many previous maps of yours? It's been a mechanic in yours for a while there.
Only Calamity. But Calamity came out half a year, maybe even a bit more, I think, before this one. Yeah.
I thought it had been around for longer, but the food directly giving health instead of saturation has definitely been around for longer.
Yeah, that has been around since Myriad, so since version 1.9. You have another obligatory parkour section that everybody cheeses.
Yep.
And then you get a nice like lookout tower if the render distance was a bit higher for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that loaded in.
And then a basic chest, of course, so that it's not only for the view, but people actually get something out of it as well. Over here, we have another one of my funny little japes.
The incredibly useless diamond sword, yeah.
Yeah, actually, people really like the knockback on this. There are like 4 knockback items at the start in case you die a lot. If you die more than 3 times. And then over here, we have your speedrunning kit.
Ooh. Yeah.
Saw quite a lot of people get this one as well, because it was like, huh, this thing looks pretty obvious.
Question about the rubbish sword, but I think we've just covered that anyway.
Yeah. The actual name of it is also a reference to Hollow Knight. To the Neil Sage. There are quite a lot of references everywhere. I'm not gonna remember them all. Over here, I haven't seen anyone grab this one. There is a little secret.
Golden helmet.
Oh, this one's actually really good. The golden helmet. I don't think this one is still here anymore. No, it isn't. So once you went through that part, you get to the little town. And the first part is pretty linear, except for, of course, you go up there. And it should have been pretty calm, and then once you get over here, it's already like, oh, I still have nothing, and there's quite a lot of stuff going on. What do I do? So you can go to the left to find a spawn with a chest. So some risk, some reward. You can nag some of these torches as well.
What is going on with this well at the moment? I could have sworn this used to have...
Yeah, so I changed that because too many people thought the dungeon was back there, and so they went that way and expected it to that end, even though that's the path forward. So I filled it up. But
yeah.
if you still check the well, the chest is still there. It's basically just one less spawner and one secret more.
Yeah. Used to be a little hole down there with a couple of spider spawners in it.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
I also changed, these used to be planks.
I saw, who was it recently? Shadow Visions went through here, I think, or Kron, one of them, and completely ignored the planks, because obviously they didn't realise that they weren't slabs.
Yeah, so my idea with that was telegraphing that every spruce plank or spruce slab is basically fake, and that everything else is fair game.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I actually turned them into logs, which also makes the beginning a bit easier. Easier bit beginner. And then it also makes it more clear because these are bright white.
Yep.
Then we have
another trap.
This one is one of my favorites. Made it one easier as well a couple times. So everything is slabs around here, but spiders can still sometimes get in here. Go. We will show it off how it works in a few. So it's kind of straightforward. You trip the tripwire. This redstone torch gets dimmed, and then the door closes behind you. And then there are 3 TNT, it used to be 6, to break the floor from underneath you so you could fall down below here.
And if you do somehow get caught by that trap, at least your stuff doesn't go in the void, or most of it won't. There's a nice platform here to catch everything.
While this was a void map, my idea was not to put the player in the void as much as possible, because that's kind of like... That's not fun at all, I think. There are some areas, of course, and there's some lava areas as well, but like there are quite a lot of areas that are not just small islands with lots of void holes around. Because as traps, I could have just put like holes everywhere. I'm gonna trigger this one. And then I broke this block. It should basically all just explode at the same time and you would fall down. And get a heart attack and know that I hate you and I want you to die.
I think people know that already.
Yeah, if you didn't get that message already, then there's another little fun thing here. Peaceful, good to know. There's a little, as you're bridging out, there's this little hole here, which is basically a bunker for when that thing explodes. And it triggers when you're around here, and the actual TNT is in here. So I actually put the island together, don't trigger it.
Yep.
And I put the island together, so from here you can't see any of the TNT. But it is in the trees, and it's from here you can actually see it's in the trees, and it's like literally hidden everywhere.
Yeah.
Basically, kind of like the kind of reminded me of those cardboard cutouts that if you look at them from a distance, it looks like a 3D image, but it's actually just a cardboard thing.
Perspective tricks, yeah.
From the no, it's not unstable. From the inside, I made it hollow as well. So the idea was that when it blows up, I use the least amount of TNT to remove the entire island. So it made it hollow, so that saved some TNT for blowing that up. And I wanted to make sure that every grass block gets blown up, so that's why there's this layer of TNT in the top. And so far I have not seen anyone with like a grass block left, because TNT is random, so you can't 100% get what you want. There used to be sheep here, I don't know where they went. I missed my sheep. Yeah, that's that island.
There's a few more of those extremely similar in other places as well.
Yeah, there's this. I'm playing this kind of mind game where I'm putting all these islands in front of you, like, hey, look at this beautiful stuff, and then I blow it up in your face, and I do it quite a few times. And then with the last one, I don't. So that's the mind game. Like, when does the last one explode? And the answer is it doesn't. Spoiler alert. There's a secret right here. Secret chest. That was one of the newer ones.
Some lanterns.
Look at this version. Oh yeah, over here. There's a chest, but there's also this bookcase.
Yep.
And I tried to hint out that, like, hey, you should... Sorry, I looked at chat. You should collect these and like you use these for your enchanting table. And in the beta, it used to be some really weird phrase where people were like, "What's going on? What are you saying with that?" Hopefully, it's pretty clear now that people would have to collect those because they're rare.
Yep.
So I think that's everything from the starting area. These are all made by hand. And then crumbled down. So you make the building first, then crumble it down. The trees they're like 4 or 6 varieties, and then I copy paste them around. Yeah, I think that's about it. I actually don't remember how I made the actual island. Like, some islands are generated, some are not. I think this one is generated, but I'm not sure. Oh, it actually is, because the cobblestone is replaced. Coal replaced gravel, I think, as well. Yeah. At first it used to be gravel, but I removed that so people didn't, like, bridge out and then gravel down to the forest.
So all of these islands from Biome Bundle, or are some of them end islands, and some of them are from Biome Bundle, and some of them are from other places?
Some of these are handmade. They're not directly from Biome Bundle. It's basically the terrain on top that's from Biome Bundle. And then I basically carved around them to basically cut it out. It's like it's kind of like you scissor like a little thing out of paper.
Yeah.
And I cut out in multiple ways. I either used airbrushes, Or this is something I did in Myriad as well. I think I actually lost you. Is what I did is
I'm here.
that's actually how I created the main island as well, where the volcano is on top of.
Mm-hmm.
Is I got into spectator mode, and I put a command block down, and I teleported creepers, invincible creepers. They would explode immediately, and have a really high blast range. And it would always teleport when you're in spectator mode. Directly on top of me. So I would fly around where I want the trench basically to be. And around me, the explosion would cut out the air. And so that's how I cut out the island.
Yeah.
And it would also be already smoothed because the creeper explosion is kind of random. So that's how I created that.
Because with 1.14, some of the usual tools aren't really a thing. So how much of this was made in like 1.12 and then brought up to 1.14, or how much of this was?
Everything is done in 1.12.
Yeah.
Everything, like the map was completely finished because I'm shaded, world edit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, I need to do the commands, so let's update it to 1.14. And then some areas looked very barren. And then I had to update those by trying to use structure blocks to copy paste stuff in.
Yeah.
Like 90, to answer your question, 95% is 112, maybe more even. That's all this. That's the starting island.
Uh-huh. So then we move over to monument area.
Uh-huh. This one actually, there used to be jump here, like this. And people were like, whoop. That's always fun. So yeah, this Monument Island.
Here, yeah.
Then you get the... It's almost like you put in the title of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when's the title going to drop, or in a book. And yeah, that's the monument, and it's like the reveal.
Yeah, this is something I didn't mention earlier, but I really like how the loading screen fades out and there's the title right there. And the outline matches the loading screen, so it fades in really cool like that.
Yeah, the custom loading screen is actually a thing that's only possible on Optifine.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the texture when I was doing all the textures for the map. I saw the texture in the texture files of the base game, and then I saw that I could replace it, so I just quickly copy pasted my own logo on top of it. And then I was sad when it didn't work, and then the beta testers were like, "Whoa, this is amazing! How did you do that?" And I was like, "Oh, it actually works." Yep. I was like, "Oh, it's Optifine." Oh. And then we have tree numero uno. And if you went to like trap school like me, then you remember that every trap is treed, every tree is trapped.
Uh-huh.
Like this one. And
so there's a funny side instead, yeah.
Yes, no, it actually is trapped. So the joke is like not everything is trapped, you know, and it's like, oh, glowstone, give me it. And there's an extra sign saying that was a joke. This trap used to be more mean. I just made it 2 TNT now to basically not make it too killing. Quite a lot of people skipped over 3 as well.
Yeah, I didn't bother breaking that glowstone.
Yeah. I think the problem with the start of this map is there's so much stuff in terms of statics, in terms of what's going on, that the path that I laid out is not clear enough because the player is just overwhelmed with all these new stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to make it more linear to start if I throw a lot of new stuff around again. There's also a wand up here as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I did find that one.
And then, so basically when you go down the spiral staircase...
Oops.
once you go down the final.
Final.
I really can't speak today. Once you go down the staircase, you also get the second advancement for the monument progress.
And it has appeared on the screen. Yeah, there it is.
I didn't want to throw too many advancements to the player at the start, because then, again, you would overwhelm the player.
Yep.
Even though I already did. And this sign was basically for when there used to be like an actual ending where you got into like a survival world when you finished the map. And then this eye would basically create a portal down that used to be lower.
Okay, so is that why there's also two very similar looking things like this at the command block section?
Yeah, those would basically clone in. They will be cloned in, and there will be a portal underneath. Have the map section as well. This actually came from Clammy Canyon, when Lorgon said, "Wow, that's a cool map, you should do something with it." And then I was like, "Oh hey, I remember that, I should probably do something with that." And I thought it would be cool if you slowly filled in the map, and when you completed the map, you would complete the map.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the idea behind it. And then 8 filler maps. I can actually find where these would go.
I
think here.
Believe, yeah, that's one of them.
Actually, this one isn't. Probably this. There are 8. So these 4 are the polychrome. Somewhere, I think, like this.
Yeah.
One of these actually is a lie, and there's actually something there. I think it's this one or this one. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're on about, but again, that is for much later on.
Yeah. Then we can get down here.
Yep.
And I saw people getting confused about this one. This is me trying to make a teleporter system without saying that it's a teleport system. Like, there are no signs. So when you find a teleporter, it always has this purple and then the bedrock thing and then the obsidian around it.
Yep.
And then the particles saying, hey, you should walk on top of here. And then when you walk on top, when the particles are active, you get teleported on either this one or on this one. And then the particles would appear here, so you could teleport back. What I should have done in hindsight is probably done something like this. So you didn't know about the teleporter system until you found your first teleporter system, or teleporter. So you wouldn't get confused about finding this and being like, oh, what is this? Why are all these things here? Are these doorways? So yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that's pretty clear.
We have got
stuff
one blocked off doorway that is...
Is there stuff under the sand that makes my laptop cry? What's that?
I think you're talking about this sand over here, maybe?
There is...
I'm not sure.
There's quite a bit of sand underneath. But that's basically for TNT, because I like to give out a lot of sand. Just for those purposes. Do you want to go to the vinyl monument? Which we'll...
Sure. There is the custom music.
Yeah, there's custom music by Crinkles. He makes a lot of soundtracky stuff. So like kind of background stuff, and I use it quite a lot when mapping, because it's kind of chill and it's ambient. And it's kind of like a fantasy theme as well at times. So I thought it would work really well as like a side objective as music discs, basically to promote his music as well, because it's kind of unknown.
Yeah.
I think I saw Xizuma Void use it as well.
One thing I was wondering about this is whether at all you attempted to line up the music to like the theme of the area you'd find the disc in. Because a couple of them kind of seemed to match up like that, but then others didn't really.
There was some weird reasoning going on. Let me just clear my inventory. There was some reasoning going on, because for one, I want to try to get them into a certain order.
Mm-hmm.
So basically all the things that we have is... I already made the sprites, textures, for the music discs.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, I have all the sound files chosen. Three, there are all these areas I have to put them in.
Mm-hmm.
And four, there's probably going to be order that people are going to complain about that I'm not following. So, yeah, I needed to combine all those four things.
Yeah.
And I put the music together in a sense like they would actually be an album. So you would start with this one,
mm-hmm.
then with this one, and there's actually kind of a rhythm, an interest curve is what you call them. So I kind of drew out like how interested people are, like you have peaks and valleys.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so the peak is basically on how intense it is.
Yeah.
And then the valley is to give players a bit of downtime. And you can see that in gameplay as well of these maps, because at the end of an area it becomes a lot difficult, so you're at a peak.
Mm-hmm.
And then there comes a valley again to give you some breathing room, and it slowly starts to build up in the next area. I tried to do that with the music as well. But that's another one of those really small, vague details that's way overthought. So I tried to also match the theme of the music to the actual color of the disc.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thieves in the Night kind of sound like a green and brown one.
Mm-hmm.
Search is kind of an electric one, so blue with yellow.
Yeah.
Escape is kind of an action pack, so I tried some popping colors. Blue Forest, I love this one, by the way.
Blue Forest is blue, yeah.
Zeal is a really good one. Crystal, kind of purpley. This was kind of a throwback as well to Myriad Caves with the crystallized. Dual. I always thought the black and white discs and walls were always like, kind of like a late game feel.
Yeah.
So I made those the last ones. And then at the end, you get a colorful one, which is kind of nature themed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all over
yeah.
idea. And then I tried to also kind of put them in an order depending on how you would find them. Like Vines and Terminator in the last area. And Fleet and Duo also really late game. And you the first one that's hidden on the actual monument is also set.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them also put where I felt they would theme with the actual area as well. Like, I think Zeal would fit, because Zeal felt kind of like an aggressive, fiery one, because it's also red, so I put it in the volcano. Spoiler alert. And then the Blue Forest. I think this one was in monochrome, so kind of a foresty area.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
There's two secrets here. One is... There's a little entrance with some cake here.
Ooh.
In case you didn't find this one.
Nope, I did not see that.
And this one's... I think only one person found this from this way, which is not the right way. There's a little hole right here.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the secret zone that we will probably get to later.
Yeah. I thought I was done with the map. I went into Spectator, I immediately found this and was like, okay, no, I'm not done with the map.
Yeah, no, you're never done. This is the map that never ends.
Yeah.
So I think no secret underneath here. Nope. I really like this monument. The record.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Might reuse this probably for the jam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this is another secret.
Uh-huh.
It's a thing I did in Corona Trials, where you have this obvious, almost spherical cutout. I'm basically begging you to dig this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like a creepy cave. It's like, ooh, what's behind here? And it's like, oh, there's nothing. But it's dark. Because most secrets are kind of lit up.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually see it from here as well. No one actually was like, oh hey, there's a cave down there that's not lit up. What's down there? Nobody has been like that, but that was just basically a second way of finding it. And then there's this little cubby right here to make it feel more like a secret. Where you got into this kind of... This was inspired by Terraria. You got basically an underground house with all these webs around.
Mm-hmm.
And you have creeper paintings to kind of make you unsettled. And then you have a button saying not to press it. Did you ever find this, by the way?
I did find this, yes.
Okay.
I stumbled into it on accident. I was just gathering blocks and happened to break into this corridor.
That's amazing. I haven't watched every LP because
there's so many.
Just don't have the time. Just sad sounding. Let me press it, I guess. Actually, I think if I give myself some instant damage, because I think I made it so it wouldn't kill you. So I have 3. Let me actually copy paste these in. So I have... Oh. Dang it. Oh, it's on peaceful. Nice. Okay. Never mind.
But yeah,
press the button.
build. Yeah.
Just precisely 9 hearts of damage, and I think right before it actually hits you, it actually heals you, so it makes sure that you won't die from it. Because people would maybe not have set their spawn here, so they would have made that stupid walk again.
I believe this one did break my helmet, yes.
Yeah, that's actually what it does as well. So, it also removes the first command block just to make sure that you don't cheat in many anvils. So yeah, just a silly way to give an anvil as like a reward for finding this place.
Yep. Question, how did you do it so the anvil falls on your head even if you're standing in different places?
So the command for that is, it's called execute.
Yep.
And the execute is basically like a command template where you can say, execute if something, do this. And for do, it's run. So if the player this, run that. So what I did is execute at the position where the player is standing, summon the anvil a few blocks above where the command is executed. So a few blocks above the player, the anvil would fall. Yep. I think if you're running, then the anvil would not hit you because it's teleport on top of you, so you moved. But nobody's moving while pressing the button.
Yeah.
All gets an anvil. I think it's the closest player to the button. Let me just check that for sure.
I think an anvil did fall on my head when you pushed the button as well. So
yeah,
I think it might be an at A.
Yeah, it's actually an at A. So
yeah.
It's everybody.
So if you're a multiplayer, you do get more than one anvil.
That's a good point. That's one of those things, small little nitbits that you kind of forget because you can't think about everything. And that's the underground section. Staircase. Oh yeah, there's now a little gravel path as well to say, hey, you should go here. Yeah, people are confused about it as well because it's the monument, and normally the monument, it's never like first area monument and then the first area continues because they expect it to be different, but I never said that this was a different area, so people get confused about that.
Got a chest up here with
Also,
some base stuff in it. We've got
over here as well. I changed this as well. There's this little sign saying where the objective actually is, because people got really confused about that. About like, hey, where's the first objective? Because they thought it was in the well, the island, but it's not there. Also,
more ender pearls.
and then you could.
If you're better at throwing them than I am, yep.
I thought you had a hard time. In that one area.
Well, we'll get to that, I'm sure.
What was that copy of the eye in the center of the monument?
Yeah, we already explained that one, but yeah.
Yeah, I can explain it again. So the idea is when you completed all 12 Ender Eyes, it would open up a portal underneath here, and that would be opened up by cloning those eyes in the spawn chunks, and then you could basically jump in here and jump in the portal and get into a vanilla world, and that's basically how you escaped this evil realm. The whole idea came from 12 Ender Eyes to complete an end portal. And you see the same thing coming back in mine and Cold Fusion's collab called Crimson Torrent. So yeah, same idea. Make a portal, escape. Let's make it complete the portal map instead of complete the monument.
Yep.
Another secret: every tree is lit up on this main island except for one.
Yep.
So if you're wary, there you go.
There's another one I stumbled into by accident.
That's actually what happens with a lot of these. There's another secret chest up on this island over here.
That is a lag spike and a half.
Yeah. I need to stop saying over here as well. Over on this big island in the corner. There's a potions chest. I actually remembered what was inside for once. So these islands around the actual monument island, I was hoping people would enjoy making like half sky bases on these islands as well. And I give out a lot of tools like grass. I even give out like a roller coaster kit.
Yeah.
To basically make players build their own base, because that's what people seem to enjoy as well. And it's a little nitpick that I got from Calamity Canyon is we want more base building materials early on so we can make a base. There's the bonus puzzle. Puzzle.
First disc.
This is cassette. Oh.
Yep.
I don't know if Dark Mind will inspire you to do this map. This was... Oh, geez, that's a long question, or a long answer. This map has been in development for the longest. Like, right after... Big Leave? Yeah, Big Leave even. Whoa. So there were three maps that I was working on. Big Leave, Myriad, and... I think I called it Voyage of Flames, which is a fire team volcano map. We're kind of a Sea of Flames style of map, because I kind of like the fire sea maps. And there was a whole different rendition of this one. Rendition. And so that idea kept on evolving into this. And the idea was a dark world where there was once a civilization here, but now it's just dark and despair and nothing is left. And slowly the world is collapsing in literally the end of the world, and it's kind of the final dungeon, what it actually is. It's kind of taking over the world as it just devours it all.
Yeah.
The secret, I tried to be straightforward with secrets, but secrets are so hard to do. Like, you have no idea how to balance them, that's one. Like, how difficult do you make it? How do you tell the player that he's doing the right thing? So give feedback that he's doing the right thing without literally saying, hey, that's what you're supposed to do. And make the puzzle original, which was also pretty hard with the 12 puzzles that I already have. And give the player an idea of, hey, this is the idea of what you have to do. Because if you give a wide variety of options at the start, then it's already like a very difficult puzzle, because it's like, whoa, what's the idea here? And these are kind of vague in general, like, what's the idea? This one is straightforward, but like some of the others, like how do you have to think to get from A to B? Right? Kind of hope that's a clear explanation.
Personally, I quite enjoy puzzles anyway, but I thought the ones in this map were really well done, personally.
That's good to know. They got through some feedback cycles, so that made them better. This one, straightforward. You have 4 objects on the wall and then 3 on the ground, and they're all facing a different way or a certain way. So it's like, oh, you have to put the missing one in the same orientation down. Yeah, like that. Let's do that right now. And then 2 over. 5 up, 3, 5. Oh yeah, it's a staircase. Oh, there's a star pattern.
Goes 3 up.
Here.
Yeah.
So the 3 is a 2? It's a 3. And a 3 line. Wait. I think I already messed up. Oh, this one. Oh, this should be a black.
Yeah.
That should be straight up.
Those 2. Yep.
And then a sound to say, hey, you did it. Well done. And then you get your music discs. Which is cassette.
Yep, I assume the city puzzle is fixed. In the version of the map I had, something was clearly broken with it. And
what it was is I had this problem once where the game crashed and all the command blocks were turned to redstone only instead of always on repeat. So I missed that one.
Yeah.
Which made me sad.
So I spent a long time on that and was like, is it this? Is it that? And my original solution was correct and it just didn't work. Which is
it's sad.
Unfortunate, but that kind of thing happens.
These puzzles were also a pain in the behinds to actually program as well. Because it's just so many functions and there's so many states of the puzzle as well.
Yeah.
When you press a button in a state and you basically reach a certain level on the stage, and if you press the wrong button, it resets. But if you press 2 buttons in the right order, then it basically moves on to the 3rd stage. So it's a bunch of scoreboard stuff and a bunch of for the state, and a bunch of scoreboard stuff for which button you just pressed.
All of the puzzles in this map kind of remind me of There Is No Learning Curve 2, and the command blocks in that map are just insane. I think that was before function files were a thing. So that would have added some complexity, but
there are quite a lot of function files in this one. But there's 12 for all the maps for summoning them in. 12 for all the resetting.
Yep.
There are 12 for some Half Ender stuff as well. There are 10 for the puzzles, because not every puzzle needs commands. And there are a lot for the spawn mechanism as well. Do you want to go over the monument?
Sure.
The messiest command room I've ever seen is the one in RC3. Yeah, I can. Oh, yeah, I only have seen the RC2.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. That is quite a messy room. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I put this on as a little joke at everyone who's said to me, "Oh, I'm stuck in the monument room because I ate chorus fruits. I'm stuck." So yeah, taking a stab at people.
It's really hard to bedrock things off anymore because chorus fruits, if you provide those, bedrock will suddenly go out the window.
So how the monument works? We have. Let me actually get a nice. It's a nice block. Let me get a nice pink block, pink glass. Okay, this one. This command block. It detects if there's an end. If there's an end of eye of ender.
Yep.
In the thing upstairs. And if there is, it replaces this block, this obsidian block, with air. So the thing actually goes on.
Fires off the beacon, which goes through the bedrock somehow, but sure.
Yeah, bedrock actually allows that, and through netherrack as well. So beacons actually work in the nether. I think that's the idea behind it.
Okay.
Then it grants you the monument advancement, whatever one is correlated to this beacon.
Yep.
Or to the eye vendor. Then it one time. So basically, this always runs on repeat. So new players would get the advancement as well. It creates some particle effects for when you put them in, and it creates particle effects at the center of the eye. And then at the same place of the eye, it would summon in, or it would execute a function that would summon all the maps in.
Yeah.
So, and then it's the same thing copied over for all the other.
Every different color, yeah.
And when they activate, these redstone torches turn off all one by one. So if we break them all, what you start seeing to happen is that the light slowly dims. And basically, if all of them are turned off, so, or on this side at least, so when you get the first 6, this redstone torch turns on.
Yep.
And you basically have half of the map completed. And if all those others turn off as well, then this redstone torch will turn on and it will finish the end sequence commands. Which actually, do you want to talk about it now or like later?
Which bit?
The end sequence, which is when you finish the map, I guess.
Sure, we can talk about that now, seeing as we're over here.
It's not super expansive.
Yeah.
So what I did is, I got into the. I got a texture for the Ender Dragon, and I just made him invisible. And then I also made it so the sound doesn't play. So when you finish the map... Wait. Oh, there it runs.
Whoa.
Did you go upstairs? Yep. So you have the particle wave. I forgot how loud this is. Sorry for the no warning. So yeah, a little bit of a light show. Because I really like the animation of the light beams at the end of the Dragon House. And you get some XP as well. I guess, shall we head down the path?
I think that is it for the monument, yes.
Yeah. I think that's basically it. Oh yeah, and there are now also some teleports. If you get stuck in there, you get automatically teleported on top of the eye. So basically for the chorus fruit people.
Yep.
To save them some agony. Another chest. Some nice backup tools for if you jump in the void 20 times. And then saying people, hey, you should not have all your stuff on you if you jump in the void 20 times. And then while you're talking or reading my signs, I'm basically already like being like, ha, you fool. And then do a little cheeky spawner hide. I like to do that. There used to be signs right here, but they were kind of too confusing. Because there was an arrow on it, which was like, are you pointing to the right, to the box, or what was the idea?
Which were the ones that were talking about coal? No.
Yeah, those were here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were actually the coal, like right there. And I think in the first public release, I actually had the old sign because I had to retype some of it to make it more clear. I had that one underneath here, so there were two signs, which was super confusing. And did I hide something here? Oh, I did.
And it's broken.
Some bread. And I'm like, did I put a secret here? And the answer is yes. There was 2 bread and a stone sword. Cool. And then there's also the coal blocks down below in the cave. This was generated because the ravine here.
Yep.
There's some caves here handmade, but most of it is generated. And there's coal here and there's stone here. And I actually put quite a lot more stone down than the first few versions. So it's more forgiving for sure.
I think there's one of them. Is it this pile over here which goes down into a void hole? Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, so every void hole so far, when you fall in, and you have blocks on it with you, then you could at least like, bloop.
Yep.
And there's one right here as well. Here. But this one is like, just don't walk into it, basically. And then 2 spider spawners. I might have removed one. Yeah, I removed one because spiders are glitchy when you came up from here. There's some extra chests. Efficiency 2, pickaxe. So basically that's 1 tier higher than a normal stone pickaxe. So it's a good spawner pickaxe early on. And there was another chest. Oh, it's down here with the lighting queue. That's a bunch of stone tools.
Stone tools. There's more food.
Yeah. There's some lapis. Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Just a little extra surprise. Oh, there's some stone here. Oh. Yeah, that's all that's here. It's the caves, just a small resource area. And then there's when you get on top. Yeah, you can either go 2 ways. You can either go this small off branch.
Custom crafting recipe.
Yeah, explaining without words again.
Yeah.
Can you still cheat your way into the second eye with the fruits? Second eye? Oh yeah, you can.
One over there, yeah.
I left that in for the smart people. If you're smart, go ahead. I like those things. I also have a few speedrunning things like that, where if you're smart enough, then go ahead, be my guest. Because it gives this... You can either give a sense of accomplishment to a player by making him overcome a challenge, or making him think outside the box and it works. I changed this tree to birch to make it more obvious, like, hey, it's a tree. Quite a lot of people actually just walked past this.
Yep.
They were like, oh, a dead tree, nice. This is
tin tree. Yeah.
It's officially in the game again now. And TNT now actually, when it breaks blocks, it actually drops the item 100% of the time. So it's actually helping you in the long term. Like it drops all the extra items down. What else? We have the crossbow.
Yeah. Crossbow.
I assume this was people's first time meeting the crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was is that you had a creeper spawn. At first these were phantoms, which was really mean.
Yeah.
But so you could actually get used to actually shooting the creepers from a distance and getting used to like, okay, it's like a bow, you have to refill it, and then you can immediately shoot it. Would you mind taking a quick break for like 5 minutes?
That's fine.
Okay. I'll be right back.
How are you doing, people in chat? You going good? Having a good day? Stuff going well. Feel free to ask any questions, of course. Was there a point that you could chorus straight into the cassette box? That is a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I assume that maybe they're all like the box in down in Ozone, where I tried to chorus straight into that box and it was completely solid barriers. I'm assuming maybe they're all like that, and that would prevent you from chorus shooting into them. But I don't know. Stuff is good. Rayo is planning to make a jam map. That is good to hear. The more the merrier. The less odds we are that we're going to end up with a jam like Scrambled, in which there were 0 maps. Want to try and avoid stuff like that. Spikes. Spikes are weird, aren't they? Wondering how those were done. Must have tried about 3 or 4 different shops, and none of them had jeans long enough. They were all too short. Which is rubbish. Because I am definitely not the tallest person who ever lived, so everybody else must have the same problem. I'm not sure what's going on with these. Spikes do look a little bit weird for me. Maybe something is, I don't know how they could even be broken, really. Maybe Optifine's messed something up. I do not. It is just those. I even took that one off, especially. Even though it is unlikely to make any difference to anything.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
I was just looking at these beautiful spikes.
Ah, yes. My skin, they just look like brown stain.
Yeah, they look like that to me too, even though I have the resource pack on. Yeah.
Wait, do they really? Oh.
They do. But some people in the chat are saying that they shouldn't. I'm not sure what's going on with that, because they look like that when I had it in my playthrough as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going wrong with these.
Did you step on them?
I did, because I could not tell with this texture that they were spikes. So I accidentally died to the first lot of them by trying to find out what they were.
Dang. I wonder why, because just a model change.
Yeah.
And then it was me just being funny again with the cookies.
I'm interested in knowing what the spikes are supposed to look like.
I'm really curious why they aren't working.
I can only assume that maybe Optifine's messed something up with one of the options, but I don't know.
Turn connected textures off.
That might be it actually, yeah. Where the heck is that option gonna be?
Sorry.
Details.
Yeah, no, it's connected texture. I didn't know yet. That'll be fine.
Connected textures. There it is. Hold on. We have a loading screen. Will I turn that off? Connected textures are off. There we go. They look much nicer now.
So yeah, trying to pick obscure blocks to replace.
So yes, people who watched my playthrough, here's what the spikes are supposed to look like.
Mods ruining stuff.
Cottage Cheese says he's only seen one playthrough that you can see the spikes. Apparently a lot of people are using connected textures.
Yeah, apparently.
That is a problem.
There's some caves in this one as well, and they lead to a loot chest. I can find the actual chest. We're really going through this map.
We're doing it
just gonna
in some detail, yeah.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Hold on. Let me TP.
Yeah. So once you go through the caves, you find a little bit of coal and a bit of coal blocks, and you get this. And if you go over to these islands, these are honeypot islands again. And I think you deserve a cookie for getting here and finding secrets. And again, just trying to make it so you don't get completely overwhelmed at the start, like the first few versions. That was fun.
Who did beta test this map out of interest? I believe Ver and Fornan were going through at one point.
Yeah, they did the very first one, which was horrible, and we had to stop in the first area because it was ridiculous. Ty did... Oh, here it is. Ty did, Nava did, Adri2711 did. Pear did a little bit, Wonder Sim did a little bit, Texas Beeful did a little bit. And Vahuder played through all of it as well on our own. So yeah, not many beta testers actually. Like 2 or 3, 4 who actually went through all of it. That's the problem with beta testers, is finding consistent ones that actually play through it all as well. Because quite a lot of people say they're like interested, yeah, I would love to beta test. And then it doesn't happen. Which is kind of sad. I guess not everybody has time.
Got the flint gathering shovel. Whoa.
In your face. I saw some people die to this off camera and it was hilarious. Because the next episode, I think Shadow Visions was like, yeah, I'm gonna grab this gravel and then I will be right back in the next episode. And the next episode he's over there at spawn, and I knew, and I just laughed because I knew what went on. Basically saying, hey, you should do this. Nope, you shouldn't.
Yeah, typical render trap. I believe you have done something like that before with iron ore. I vaguely remember, but I don't remember which map it was in.
And Lapis Lazuli, and I think I believe in Goliath even. Let me see. You go down here. There's actually another chest down this island.
Ooh, right at the bottom.
Yeah,
potions and more potions.
Nobody's gonna find this. But again, secrets for if people find it. And this is where you find your first chains. Trying to explain it again. And then people are still getting confused by these arrows as well. Like, do I need to go right? But yeah.
Yeah.
Drop iron block. And then we have some cobwebs around as well, basically to make your life harder once you run back. But these kind of work two ways, because the zombies and creepers would walk into them. And then in all these kind of mound shapes, there's a creeper spawner. Well, like strictly like a diamond shape.
Yep.
Like. And there are two of those, and there's a third one.
With a chest.
Which I actually opened, because most people just miss this. With a nice supply of cash. And then the objective box. I made it more obvious that there's so that you can actually see the objective for me as well. Because people got confused about that as well. In terms of potions, I like to use them a lot, just because I really like the healing. I like the speed one, the strength one. Many players don't use them. Well, that's just kind of their own idea. Regen is also really good.
Yeah.
It's hard to know, like, when do you actually use a potion. That's probably why quite a lot of people don't use them.
To me, the potions end up being too good to use syndrome. I use the instant health ones, and all the others, I could save these for a harder area. They could still save them for a harder area. It's the end of the map, and I've got 2 double chests full of them.
Yeah, I basically use them whenever in these kind of maps. What I think I should do is kind of on a trading system. Like you get just emeralds or something. You can trade that to get custom potions I made, so you don't get fire resistance, for example, or something else that I find broken.
Yeah.
And then you basically have infinite of them, and that's how people actually use them, because there are infinite of them, so they don't have to save them up. Yeah. That's kind of a problem with potions. There's a bit of a stigma there. Then you have me trying to explain, hey, there is some area order to it. It's not all madness.
Yeah. This map is a little bit less linear than most maps.
Yeah, I tried to lay out that the map is kind of linear, because it's open world.
Yeah.
It's not straight up open world, because you actually you actually go from one to the other side of the map. But there's just so many ways to do it.
Like someone said to me, look at the advancements, and so I ended up doing in the order it suggests in the advancement completion progress tab. But like I looked at Shadow Vision's thumbnails, and they've done it in a completely different order to where I've done it. I suspect a lot of people may have done it in different orders again. So
yeah, the advancements are kind of made in so you would kind of follow that order as well.
Yeah.
But you're free to do whenever, and that's what I kind of like about open world. Here we have Vexus, everybody's favorite small mob that flies through walls, and you can't hit it because it's flying through walls. And then in vanilla it has an iron sword, so it punches you in the face, and then it says F you. And I basically made it so they have glowing, so you can see them through the walls, and you can kill them in one shot.
And they also have a trail, so you can easily see where they're going a little bit more easily.
Yeah, that was actually more just for decoration.
think the trail is quite helpful as well. But,
and it gives a knife effect from a distance.
Yeah. Let's flip that back to peaceful again.
Yeah. This is probably my least favorite area of the map. Gonna say that at first. In terms of gameplay at least. Because it's too big, it drags a bit. Because there's soul sand everywhere and it's a lot of bridging.
Mm-hmm. I think you said on Discord at one point you were trying to avoid bridging as much as possible.
Yeah, so the first two areas have bridging, and then I think the final one has... Yeah, the final one has some, and the rest is all no direct voice bridging. Mm-hmm. And even this one, there's a little bit of a buffer at times as well. If you fall down, you fall on top of the clouds.
Yeah.
And if I went on like if a good editing tools get out for 1.14, then I might make this area shorter by condensing it a bit and add like pathways in between to make this area quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I also buffed the loot of this area because it used to be kind of garbage. Let's see, this is the good iron sword. It's still good.
This one, knockback one. Somewhere over in this general direction is the next disc puzzle, I believe. Yep, just down there.
It's actually right here.
Yeah.
All these broken houses are basically to lead your interests, to say, hey, you should get over here. And then there's a loot chest, and quite a lot of time there are blocks in there for help with bridging. Because collecting blocks is tedious. And then you can also see some of the other points of interest. I guess we could talk about a puzzle right here.
Uh-huh.
This is the trail, the shulker bullet particle. It's actually the Endwald particle. If I just do some little bit of magic. As you can see, there is this beautiful white particle around. And the Vex thing with the trail is actually pretty similar to the bats in the opening lobby of Myriad Caves. They flew around with this trail as well. And these are pretty cool particles because they kind of float around for a while and then slowly disappear. So it makes this trail go from very bright to kind of dimming out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I like. Then we have this puzzle. At first, the ceiling hint wasn't there. So the idea is as follows: is you place this down, and did you finish this one, by the way?
Yep, I did all of them eventually.
Ooh.
This one didn't take very long because I've seen a variation of this with tetrominoes rather than pentominoes before.
Yeah.
But I've seen a very similar one to this before.
It actually started as a binary puzzle, I think. So, actually, can I see it? No. They use so it's basically 1, 2. How binary works is it's 1, 2, and then 3 is 1 and 2 combined.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And after that it's 4 and then whatever. So I actually need to collect the wool blocks. So you start with the middle row. And then so as you can see in this row, these blocks are on the same position. In this row, this one are in the same position. And in this one, this one, and this one are in the same position. And in the vertical row, or horizontal, depending on which way you look at it, these are in the same, these are in the same, and these are in the same. So it should go here. And then the rest should be magenta. So yeah.
Okay, that is actually different from the way I solved it, but okay.
Yeah, there are multiple ways to
Yeah.
get to this. It's kind of the problem what I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
What was your idea of it?
Well, so there are only a certain amount of ways you can make a shape with like 5 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So we're assuming that all of them are going to have these 3 blocks in the middle, because all of them do. And there's that kind of hint on the ceiling suggesting that as well.
Yeah.
So then the only option, we've got the plus shape covered. The only option for getting rotations, because we've got both of the T's, we've got the T on the left, the T on the right, S on the left, S on the right, we've got the plus in the middle.
Plus in the middle, then you got...
So we've got this one and its mirror.
Yeah, you get one left.
So the only one that doesn't have its mirror image is this one. So we make the mirror image of that one, and it's the same solution.
So you go, yeah, it's a different way to get from A to B, but it's still correct. But yeah, also a challenge was to get all these big rooms inside islands. Like, that was a big problem with this map, is you have to make an outside and an inside of most islands, and then trying to make it fit.
Yeah.
And also decorate it all. That's also one of the reasons why this map took such a long time to make. Actually, I don't know where you are.
I'm just having a look to see how snugly that puzzle room fits in that little area, but...
What you could do is go into a spectator mode.
Yep, that's what I did.
Take a flight around.
Yeah.
It's a little hay bale stash. To your right.
Yep, over here.
I think over here there's a hay bale stash. Favorite puzzle on the map? Favorite puzzle in the map is the... Yeah, we're still going. Hi, Ty. The favorite puzzle is the city one. So yeah, the little stash.
It's unfortunate because that's the one that didn't work for me, but yeah.
Yeah. Did you actually... When you finished it, did it actually... Like,
yeah, so I got the correct solution first, it didn't work, so I tried this, tried that, tried the other. Eventually sort of resorted to looking at the function file. So that had the coordinates written down of the X and Y's in the right order. So then I could see which order they were supposed to be broken in from that file.
And with the states of the actual thing. This is where you get your first renewable food source, which not many people got this in the first few tries, so I put like 3 of these chests around.
I've seen a few different copies of the same chest, yeah.
And then there's a lot of melons in... There's melons in Hellhive, because some people do that as a third area. And in Mount Gloom, and in Burning Badlands as well. There's actually a little secret down here as well. There's a diamond shovel. Oh, it's actually pretty good at the start of the map. You can get a lot of dirt really quick.
Yep.
So, lots of blocks. Oh. Yeah, I buffed these where there's a lot more arrows, more breads, more stone tools, and more leather, and more torches.
Isn't one of these the crossbow? Are you the crossbow?
Crossbow is
yes,
that one.
You are the crossbow.
Yeah, there are 3 levels of the crossbow, and the second is pretty good, and the third one is amazing. I love crossbows.
Yeah. Quick charge is... Well, quick charge and piercing. My new 2 favourite enchantments. They're so good.
And there's also the hyperbolt.
Yeah, quick charge 5 crossbow. Yeah.
I can make them even quicker than that one. That requires some command shenanigans. Do we first want to explore more of the rest of the area? Although, is there much to talk about?
There's the house over on the other side.
the house. Okay, let's go to the house.
Where is it? This one up here.
Yeah. I think this trap was broken for a lot of people. So how this one works. Treasure map spot. Oh yeah.
That one too.
I don't think there's a thing right here. Yeah. So technically it's like this. So how this one works is a double piston extender on the ground. And it opens up a hole right here. So when you trigger the tripwire, the double piston extends this block, so you get pushed where the floor is getting opened up, and you get thrown into the spidery basement. So yeah, that's that trap. And then you climb the stairs. Don't mind me. 2 more bookshelves, redstone torch on top, like saying, "Hey, I'm a bookshelf. I'm important. Ooh, look at me." Nobody remembered them. Probably because people were distracted by this
cartography table. Yeah, the useless cartography table.
I put a lot of the new blocks in just because I was like, "Oh, they're new. Let's use them." Not the best mindset to go by the way. And yeah, just some loot, some nice stuff.
Yeah.
That sort is nice, especially.
There is, as Rayo says, the treasure map spot. I can't remember exactly where that is, but it is.
If you look at the sky,
somewhere. Yeah, there's a couple of
2
arrows. Yeah, there they are.
Many people had problems finding this one.
I thought this was harder to find than all of the others, but
yeah, there's a little axe and there's a ring.
Yeah.
Matter what. I was trying to. That's the problem. Is trying to be subtle, but not too subtle, because you want people to only find it with the actual treasure map. But you don't want people to find it who have no treasure map and know what kind of secrets I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, some really nice stuff. Mending and the miracle stuff is really nice for like hard parts of a map. So yeah. Also, that stuff is good for speedrunning because it's early on. Good armor early on. I like that.
Yeah. There's quite a few hidden chests around in like bottom parts of islands in this area.
Yeah, there are little chests everywhere to reward the experience. Yeah. That's also a hard thing if like a creeper blows up part of the terrain and removes some of the clues. I don't know. It's kind of part of the game, but There's also these. They have not fully grown yet because we flew around. This is one of the islands that I added in manually. At first there used to be a passage towards this area, but that got confusing because this is a hard area.
Yeah.
And beta testers were like, "Oh, this area is so hard, you should nerf it." And instead of that, I just made the start more linear. So yeah, extra stuff, which is pretty nice for this area. I believe there's also a chest in the little basement. So you would fall down here from the little trap. And then just 2 spider spawners. And 2 anvils even, damaged ones. So yeah, that's pretty nice to actually fall down and get hit by the trap. Would it even still be a trap? If it's a trap? If it doesn't really trap you?
It's a kind trap.
It's a present, a surprise. It's like a Kinder egg. You could choke on it, but you could also get chocolate. And get a new toy. There's more stone in here, and I also made it more obvious that there's stone. And some supplies to make sure people wouldn't have to mine.
Yeah, lots of torches.
How much time do you spend a week on map making? I mean, after Calamity, you've been involved with code views, diversity, minimaps, and so on. It really depends on the mood I'm in and like how busy I am in with real life, with uni. Like with Minecon, I didn't mind at all. And when I got home, I basically immediately started mapping again. I don't play that many games just on my own, so when I basically have free time and I'm bored, I either just waste my time by watching YouTube videos or streams, or I make maps. So yeah. We have the little dungeon.
So yeah, I saw this thing early on and kept deliberately avoiding it, and then eventually found this way in before even finding my way up here. So I didn't even know this was barriered off before ending up going down here. But, yeah.
I removed one of the spawners here. There used to be a fourth one. Again, slowly trying to make things easier, because the start is probably the roughest part. And I also tried to make it kind of subtle that you went like in the actual islands. Because it would have been kind of weird if you had like just a straight up U-shaped island come off and people would have been like, and a little hole in the ground and it would be like, oh, I can just dig down here to get into the dungeon. Or whatever this is. These fences.
Yes.
The idea of them is to basically break the dungeon up into multiple parts, so that if you hit a zombie at one part of the dungeon, that only the zombies in your section will come after you, because there's a fence in the way. Because especially with the zombie AI, they will just completely swarm you. And there are quite a few zombie spawners. This is pretty straightforward, small dungeon. So basically, there's the room at the start. You go through a hallway. That room where you can go up or down. Down leads in another room with a chest with some potions. And if you go up, you continue through the hallways into the final chamber. Pretty small and straightforward.
More leather in that one.
I'm still surprised by how much space actually fits in this small island. Because every time I see this room, I'm like, whoa, this is pretty big. How does it fit inside the island?
TARDIS Island. Bigger on the inside.
Sorry. I also liked how the theme kind of changes in this final room as well. How it's like all red. You have these red mushrooms, the red netherworts, the big red mushrooms. It's kind of interesting, I think.
Did somebody already ask what Render's favourite area of the map is? I do not think they have.
Oh, my actual favorite area. Oof. Aesthetically and mechanically, I probably like the city the most. In terms of like the atmosphere, I probably like the bonus area the most. I really like how that one feels, like what moves it brings. And in terms of gameplay, I would either say the Under Citadel or the Rage Chain Citadel. I just like castles in general.
I think that is a prerequisite of being a CTM map maker, yes. You've got to have a thing for castles.
They're just fun to storm. That's really it. And they're imposing, and you know, like, oh, a castle's an endgame thing, right? So it's kind of sells itself, so why wouldn't I use it? Use cliches, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
There's a chest right here with enchanted books. It's your first. It's basically your final. Yeah, your mini fun box. I call them clusters. This is your final boss of the dungeon. This room is a bit harder. There's a lot of coal around for if you actually beat it as well. And there's a lighting queue to get up. And then first it used to be like this, but then people just clicked the button and were like, let's just go out. And then where do I go now?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually press space to climb. Did you know that? And there you hear the sound effect of this thing getting triggered because we got close.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you can either go through the whole dungeon, or you can either chorus through them.
Yeah.
Skip it all.
There's also a couple of chests in and around this tree.
Yeah, you got the gold steel, which is the Unbreaking 10 stuff. And then you got the chest full of saplings, especially spruce saplings, because someone keeps bitching about that. War. I hope he's watching right now. Hi, War. How are you doing, friend? Not making fun of you. And there's basically this dome around the...
Yeah.
Oh, I muted myself. There's basically this dome around the barrier. Or around the tree. So yeah. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Can you find it?
Yep.
Ooh.
Out of the gap.
There is another little secret right. There are 4 secret chests on top of the trees. That's one. It's not much.
Smarrows.
Yeah. There's a little secret chest right here. So when you come into the area, for perspective sakes, on the left side, there's more stone. It's right here.
Yep.
With just blocks, and I believe, yeah, if you go up in a little cave, there's an extra, there's a second one of those nice crossbows.
War needs more creepers and ladders. War does need more creepers and ladders.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's sheep on that one.
Yeah, here's my favorite sheep. Hi, little sheepy. Hi, how you doing? Bye-bye, friend. They're slowly eating all the grass. Because random tick speed was off, so they would just eat all the grass away. And again. Better than minutes. Again, there are 2 bombs in this one, because you can approach it from 2 ways. How did you make the trees? Oh, that's a good point! Thank you! So, we got these fancy trees here. I made about 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And could you tell me what's the difference between this purple thing here and this brown thing here? Huh? Huh? That's kind of the same shape, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's multiple chorus fruit things stacked on top of each other. And I added some roots just by putting some fences on them. And then I made some really flat brushes with noise on them. And that were the leaves. So yeah, and then I copy-pasted those around everywhere. Pretty straightforward. But like an interesting trunk idea. Because they're all kind of creepy and jagged, like a creepy old forest. And how I actually made these islands. This used to be all one big chunk of land. And I basically got into spectator mode and made it so creepers would instantly explode around me. And I would fly around in between and create all these places in between. And it created all these different sections. And then I would smooth the undersides off so they would actually look like islands. So that's how I made the islands. Yeah, it's from the Corona trials. And some of this is generated naturally, like this small cave right here. So this was some terrain from the biome bundle that I stole. Because I like stealing stuff, I guess. Or borrowing without giving back, huh? Wanna go to Hellhigh first or Mount Gloom?
We could do it in order, or we could go to Hellhive and I'll have an excuse to talk about the bees and honey blocks from Minecon and stuff as well.
Okay, let's go that way then. Da, 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 da.
So yes, we've already got the bees for 1.15, and we had the honey blocks reveal at Minecon as well.
Kind of sad I didn't know about that sooner.
Yeah. I thought, hey, this is a nice area. It would have been better saved for 1.15 when we actually have bees. But,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I have these smokestacks to give away, like, hey, there's something here. Go explore it. Because that's basically what these are. They're like lighting cues.
Yep.
But they're more intentional because now I can put light everywhere and I could put one of these down. And then people will be like, oh, there's a smokestack. I should investigate.
Got the first teleporter back right here.
Yes, so when you get in a radius of about 10 blocks of them, then it triggers a scoreboard or a tag. One of the two, can't remember. And then it opens up at the monument. There's also a lot of lighting glitches because 1.13 messed some stuff up and I hate it. Yeah, Hellhive. This is a harder area. Basically to say, hey, you should not go here as your next area, and then Shadow Vision's dead.
So Ver popped in when I was playing this area and said this took you about 6 weeks to make?
Yeah, this is one of those areas that is a pain in the behind. So how this one is made, if we go outside
I
first.
imagine it is a bunch of the same hexagon copy and pasted.
Oh, yes.
A bunch.
A bunch. Just a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like my Ctrl-C key is kind of warm now. My Ctrl-V key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunch of those pasted around and tried to make it look interesting and kind of have this curve around it. So yeah, that's basically how it is. Copy paste a lot of hexagon pillars, and put them all together. And the inside is kind of the same, but with hollow ones.
Yeah.
The underside is actually also completely fully textured, modeled, whatever you want to say. It actually has like. I didn't skip corners or cut corners at all. So this dungeon layout, you start in the main room, and you can go left or right. There's symmetry here. I like symmetry. And you can basically go through the few rooms, and both of them have this concrete/sand fake trap, fake out.
Yeah. I expected one of them to fall at one point, and I don't believe any of them ever did.
Nope, just straight up mind tricks.
Yeah.
And they lead into this big main room, both of them. And there's an upper and a lower section to this one, with both a chest. And this room can get very hectic if you don't know how to approach a room like this, because this is one of those rooms where you have to kind of quickly run around, because if you do it slowly, then you're gonna get stuck by all the mobs, and they keep on spawning and etc. So yeah, quick playthrough is really important with this room. And then it has a small staircase on the upper section.
Two other exits down there and down there, yeah.
And the lower section leads onto two lower paths, which are both different. And I tried some kind of design set pieces. So can we do a zigzag here with spawners in the corners? I kind of always think of like interesting ways to approach something. Like I could copy paste. This is basically copy pasted room, for example. If I want to make this more interesting, then I could put a pillar in the middle, for example. Kind of make small variations on gameplay layout design, or spawner placements. And then both paths lead to the middle section. Actually, all three do, actually, but one is in the upper section and the other two lead to the lower one. And this is where this is where actually some of the melons are again.
Yep.
And you get a good food chest. And then this one, you're supposed to come from above.
Yep.
So if you come from it underneath, it actually becomes more difficult because stuff falls on top of you. Like Shadow Vision's LP. And then we're in the main room again.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we go the up path now. And I really like in the design when or an area design when this happens, where you got a room and you get to it from multiple sections, so you can see other sections of the map.
Scenic vistas.
This area actually got nerfed quite a bit after the beta.
Beta?
There's spawners and more honey pots. Honey pots. Jeez. What's with the bee puns? I cannot believe it. And then here we have the same thing again, leading back to the big room. With a shortcut.
Yep.
Because this was part 1. I can.
Yep. This goes back to.
Check it out. Yeah.
Back to the entrance.
I think most people have seen it, right?
Yeah. Then we've got some ladders in here to get up and down with as well.
Remember to behave.
Behave.
And then you have the star-crossed pillar. Like lava fell on top of something and then split up. Right?
Yep.
And hey, it actually did it. Maybe there's something right there. And there's a blaze spawner. So, yes. And then you get to like one of those big realizations where it's like, whoa, this is pretty cool. There's an open section. And then I still kept everything hexagon shaped, even the lava, which, as you can see,
messed up here for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, when you go from 1.13 to from 1.12 to 1.13 plus, it just updates lava, water, flying stuff, flying sand, even.
Liquids behave really weirdly in the latest versions.
I had to update the map, try converting it multiple times to a point where the least amount of stuff got ruined. Basically, this is one of the points that got ruined in this one, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm done with trying to convert this." Really good armor set.
Yep.
And then I give you a choice again at the start. You can go for the small chest, which most people do because it's a small pathway, so it's AC with chest, so you know what you're getting into. You can take this route, which is longer, but it's still a chest.
Yep.
You can take this one, which I can see the ender eye. So this is probably the last one I should take. Then I have this one which leads up and up to an upper section. So I'm curious. Yeah, so this one is like, okay, it's a dead end. You don't know what's at the end. Some people skip this by just or even up the tower as well.
Yeah, I just laddered up this tower and didn't bother with this section.
And I tried to make all jumps kind of doable because you can do parkour in a map. Parkour in Minecraft is kind of lame in most ways, where it's like, can you make this super hard jump that like you have to try constantly to try to make it instead of it being actually fun. So I like these smaller, easier jumps that are still pretty easy to do, so you can just have fun instead of getting frustrated because you keep falling down. And it's...
There we go. Now I can make the jumps.
And it's also that if you make it too hard, people especially start to bridge out, but they will always kind of do that as well. Spawner. And then you follow the nice laid out path with the iron grates. You get some enchanting books, pretty decent stuff.
There's also the odd-coloured block down here.
The what? Oh yeah, I completely forgot about this. Because people like to bridge instead of take my parkour. Yeah, you got it. Especially for you people. I keep forgetting about that chest. So then we have the actual pathway. And that's where I lose my stuff. You have the evoker. Which... the hardest thing always about evokers is this lighting glitch doesn't go away. I hated it as well, the updating of the light liquids. The evokers are... the vexes are the hardest part in my opinion. And since I made them one-shot kill and they don't do that much damage, the evokers I could place them a little bit earlier. So that's what I did here. I'm gonna try to... Actually, first take a quick check. Oh yeah, okay, I could just do this.
I know something around here explodes, and I don't want to explode it. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so how this one works... I like uncovering traps in these videos. Oh. It's right here, yeah. So how this one works... is when you break the spawner block, this block gets removed and the torch gets removed as well. And then this torch gets one tick to activate, triggers the TNT. And as you can see, I made the TNT, so it kind of branches away, but it branches downwards, so the TNT gets shot down as well. So when you break it, it's gonna... it kind of gets shot downwards. And if you're really unlucky, then these blocks get broken and the blaze spawners from up.
Yep, I got really unlucky.
Yeah, most people get unlucky actually. Actually, you get a lot of blocks from this as well, which is what I like. I might use that more often when I think about giving the player blocks. I could do it via a trap.
Yep.
But I don't know how many people would actually think about that. Spawners.
Bunch of
stuff.
Skeletons on little platforms out the way with some cobwebs to stop them strafing off the edge.
Yeah, so I kind of create the little turrets. I could have used the pillagers for this as well, because they don't strafe, so they don't walk off stuff. Double gas spawner all the way across the sky. And then we get to the final tower. This used to be more difficult as well. There used to be 6 spawners on every level.
Oh yeah.
And now and there used to be blaze spawners around here as well.
Yeah.
So it's way easier now.
This is a easier copy than when I played it, I think.
Oh no, it was 4 actually. Oh, it used to be 6, but they changed it to 4 and then to 2. Because nothing.
Yeah.
This map started out with a difficulty of being like super ROM hack, and then it's like I kind of don't want to do that because then that's such a small audience that only wants to finish it. I would rather just make an easier map because otherwise it's kind of a waste of my time. Does that make sense? If I make a map and only 200 people play it because it's too hard, then I would rather make an easier map.
Yeah. Appeal to the widest audience possible.
Yeah. And make 2,000 people basically know your audience. And there's the loot on top of the tower. I don't believe so, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I went up there and found nothing but spawners and sadness.
Sadness, my favorite. At least when you got here, you could see the thingamajig over there.
That is true. I found this by looking at the overhead map, actually, though.
Ooh, I like that actually as well.
Because it was very visible on there.
Never thought about that. Another way to find this is there's a little staircase as well. Shadow Visions pointed it out. I think he never did something with it. It's a staircase right here that leads up. And kind of guides you to over, yeah. There are a lot of gas spawners on top as well to basically prevent people from bridging on top. But over here there are less.
Yeah.
And then I guess we have puzzle. Woo, puzzle. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. You have all the colors in the ceiling.
Yep.
And there's an order to go find the order. I tried to make it kind of... Because if I put green as the first one, then that would have been so obvious. So I tried to put the orange one. That's hard to see. So that's the first one. Green is 2 because there are 2 green things. Then orange... No, not orange. Yellow is the third one. And then... Not purple, because purple is the start one. It's light blue. Because they're both 4 of those. And then the last one with 5 is the red one. And that's another record. That's Thieves in the Night. Yeah. I don't have the resources.
Yeah.
Resource pack. Oh, this is actually a cool texture. This is me just looking at just the purple with yellow with orange with brown. I need to remember that. I'm gonna just
screenshot that.
Take a screenshot.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I do. If I see something that's interesting, just take a picture.
Yeah.
Because you can find inspiration everywhere. Especially at the places where you don't expect inspiration. I guess that was Hellhive, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've really got enough time to do another area, but I would like to talk about the bees and the honey blocks from Minecon, because it would make sense to talk about them here a little bit, I think.
Okay, let's do that.
Do we think the bees are going to be a useful mob for CTM maps, or are they going to end up a bit like polar bears and foxes and that kind of thing, unused? Because they do aggro. Do they have a damage tag yet? Can you preset them to be aggro? Because that is going to affect how useful they are.
Yeah, I think you could set an aggro tag on them, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked into them too much. I'm hoping you could, so you could actually use them.
And then there's the Beehives, and I heard at one point you could change the MBT on them to make other things pop out of them when you broke them?
Yeah.
And then they removed that?
It is... Did they?
That's what I heard. Maybe.
Oh. So how the MBT works, the block actually saves every entity that's in it, so you could change it to another entity. Oh, they do have an anger tag, says Rayro.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, they might be useful as like when you get close, a creeper pops out.
Yeah.
Or when it gets broken, you can actually use it for a trap. Oh yes! Oh, like a piñata. You blow it up, and then it breaks, and then a bunch of mobs pop out. You have a piñata.
Sounds like a cool trap, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, that could be cool. The honey block is super interesting.
It seems similar to slime blocks, but also not.
Yeah, that's the same mechanics, or the mechanic ideas. As in, it restricts player movement. But it's actually not the same mechanic, because it's just a different aspect of what it does.
And then we've got the you can't jump a whole block high when you're stood on it, which is already a thing you can do with command blocks and with, like, the jump effect. If you set it to a certain number, you can't jump.
Yeah.
So you could already do detect the block beneath you, apply that effect if you're stood on the block, and then that will do the same thing. But now we have a block that actually does that for you.
Yeah, although you can break this one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of iffy, but it definitely has its uses because it's kind of like the cobweb. It's a natural barrier obstacle that the player has to deal with.
Yeah. What was the other stuff with the honey blocks? Was there stuff with honey blocks and pistons?
TikTok.
Yeah.
I think there was something with that.
They didn't show them off. Oh yes, the wall sliding. That was another thing you could do with them.
Yeah, wall sliding. So
yeah.
they're kind of like beds and hay bales and water and slime blocks where they kind of mitigate fall damage if you approach it from the right angle. Oh, I completely forgot to tell that. There's a little cobweb at the start where you get the chain boots and the chains. You can actually jump from the top islands, so it's kind of a speedrunning strat.
Okay, yeah, there were cobwebs on that chest. Yeah, that is true. I can't think of too much else to say about the bees and honey blocks at the moment.
Bees, honey blocks, hives. It's other 1.15.
Yeah.
Yeah, bees will probably not be used too much. Customization.
I want to see more hostile mobs that actually do different things.
Yeah, I really like the pillagers because they have unique AI attributes to them. And I might actually make an area where when you get into the area, a raid starts, and then I could maybe create a custom raid kind of idea.
Yeah, the raid mechanic is an interesting thing. Yeah, we've got all the nether stuff, but I think I want to talk about that later in a more thematically appropriate area and not talk about all the Minecon stuff at once, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's also kind of far away, so I'm not building any ideas on it yet, because if I build ideas on it, then later I'm gonna be like, oh, they should have done this with it.
That's fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that is pretty much where I think I want to end off for today, if that's alright. Because Omega seems to want his server back. That is pretty much all the time I have. This is a decent place to end off.
Yeah, it's a good place to stop. I think we went for about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty long for 3 hours as well.
Yeah. So it seems like a good place to end it for today. We've still got more to do, so hopefully there'll be a part 2 at some point in the not too distant future, hopefully.
Yeah. Keep looking at schedules and Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
I will probably tweet about it as well.
But for today, and for me for this week, that is all the time I have. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much for watching.
I hope you enjoyed. Have a great weekend.
Have a great time.
And I shall see you soon.
We shall see you soon.
We shall see you soon.
See you later, people. People of the interwebs.
See ya.